we are deriving the formula of beta, you know, logically, and as far as it makes sense. But before that, I just want to make sure that you are aware we are deriving this formula in what context. The formula actually made derivation. If we use it in this context, it becomes very easy to understand. We can use it in other context also. Well, just to kind of spoiler alert, it's basically nothing but the slope of a regression. But only if you understand regression will be able to understand. But nonetheless, this approach works. Beta is used by a CAPM formula as we discussed. It is risk-free rate plus the beta into RM minus RF. What is RM? The market return. RF is the risk-free rate. So whatever is the excess return the market is earning over and above the risk-free rate, that multiplied by the beta. Now what the CAPM is really trying to say is that, boss, you are using CAPM to calculate the return of the company. And of course, you can use the same formula then to calculate return of the portfolio. But you're using CAPM to calculate the return of the company. How much the company should earn the return. And CAPM is saying that, the best benchmark is the market. How much is the market earning? That will affect the returns of the company. That's what CAPM is saying, okay? So it's a market return which affects the company return, and that's why it is RM minus RF. That's why we're taking market return. So then, intuitively speaking, this beta also has to be some or the other way connected with the market. Let's see how it is connected with the market. But before that, I would just want to make you realize that any company has two risks: business risk and financial risk. If you have seen that it is systematic and unsystematic, that's not a company risk. That's risk discussed in the context of return and portfolio and all. From the company, from the business point of view, any company has two risks: business risk and financial risk. Now both of these risks can get affected because of the firm specific factors and also because of the macro factors. As I told you, a company's sales will get affected because of company's poor decision, but it can also get affected because of the recession. So the risk looms any which ways. Systematic risk is trying to capture the macro factors affecting the company risk, the business and the financial risk. Here, see how. And that's exactly what is captured in beta. So here, see how it does. So first of all, if I were to take the returns of the company and subtract it from the mean, can I say these are the deviations a company would have? Like for example, return of company A for year 1, then return of company A for year 2 minus the mean, then return of company A for year 3 minus the mean. Are you getting it? And then I basically, basically if I do square of each of the deviations and I total them, I will basically get x minus x bar raised to the power 2, sum it up, divided by n, square root. I'm getting the standard deviation. What I'm making you realize is that the deviation of each and every data or each and every returns of the company away from its own mean, its own average, can I say captures the total risk of the company? Total risk, the risk, the firm specific factors affecting the risk of the company and the macro factors both.
Yes.
So from that perspective, this is called systematic risk and this is called unsystematic risk, okay?
Yes.
Now here's the thing I want, before, now I'm not getting into the calculation of standard deviation and all. Before, doing raised to the power 2 and total and all, you need to understand, I now just want to find out, the total risk has two aspects to it: systematic and unsystematic. Now when I say total risk, I'm talking about the risk of the uncertainty of the returns of the company. Uncertainty of the returns of the company, that's what I'm talking about. That's the total risk, standard deviation.
Yes.
I want to just extract, are you listening to me? The word, I want to extract the systematic risk out of the total risk. That's just what I want to do. So
Okay.
intuitively speaking, can I just not take the returns of the market of year 1 minus the average and multiply both of them? Because can I say the macro factors will affect the market returns in general.
Yes.
Can I say this red color or this black color wavy line which I'm making, can I say this is the total risk of market? Yes. But can I say this is only and only affected because of the macro factors?
Yes.
See, in the purple color, the total risk, the deviation in the returns of the company could be because of unsystematic as well as systematic reason. But in case of red color, market deviations, the returns of the market and their deviations, can I say that can be only and only because of the macro factors? Now I just want to extract, I want to extract, see, in purple color there is, total risk. I want to extract the macro factors only. And that's the reason why I am proposing, why don't we just multiply each of the deviations. Wait a minute, let me just write it down. Why don't we just multiply each of the deviations? Don't you think when we just multiply each of the deviations, of the company returns and the market returns, don't you think what we will get is the systematic risk of the company, affecting the company, I mean, don't you think? I'm not very clear right now. I know that. I'm intentionally sounding vague right now. But I want you to think. Later I'll explain you with numbers also in few seconds. Okay, think about it. I'm using blue color. Can I say this is capturing the total risk? The purple color part is capturing the total risk of the company,
Yes.
right? And the
Yes.
red color part is just capturing the macro factors affecting the market. Can I say macro factors affecting the market will be the macro factors affecting the company also?
Yes.
Same factors, huh? So let's say
Yes.
if this is 20%, I'm just using intuition over here. I just want to extract the systematic risk of the company. So when I multiply, don't you think I will get the answer as 20%? I've extracted, na?
Yes.
Now do you agree that I should multiply that? That's why
Yes.
the barabar hai.
Huh.
Now here's the thing. I want to extract the systematic risk of the company, and I have so many years ka data. How do I go about, like, how do I summarize that data? Very simple. I'll take green color, I will add all these deviations, and then I will divide all these things by 3 in this case, because there are 3 data sets, 3 deviation products. And if you look at it, it is basically nothing but x minus x bar into y minus y bar, sum them up, divide by n. This is nothing but your formula of covariance. Don't you think? Don't
Yes.
you think that covariance of company A with the market captures the systematic risk of company
Yes.
A, right?
Yes.
And this is exactly how much the macro factors are affecting the company, na?
Yes.
So this is more like, right? No, this is more like actual, I would say actually, how much macro factors affecting the company. By the way, this itself is systematic risk. This itself is systematic risk. Beta is slightly something else. You see, I am trying to find out, I'm trying to quantify a number. Can you see on the topmost part of the slide? I've drawn a black circle around beta. You see, I'm trying to capture now the macro factors affecting the company versus the market. Why am I doing this? Because I have taken market as the return, as a benchmark. So if I'm taking market's return as a benchmark, don't you think I should be benchmarking macro factors affecting the company versus versus the macro factors affecting the market. Are you getting it? I'm explaining you why am I not benchmarking macro factors affecting company A versus macro factors affecting company B. I'm not benchmarking both of them because in the formula I'm using market return na. So don't you think I should benchmark macro factors affecting company A versus the macro factors affecting the market? Don't you think I should do that?
Yes.
Benchmark karo na, compare karo. Am I
Hmm.
correct? And one last thing. Let's say if your height is 6 foot and my height is 3, can I say I'm half of your height?
Yes.
If I'm half of your height, can I say you are 1? And I'm benchmarking myself to you, right? Huh?
Huh.
So now I'm trying to calculate the macro factors affecting the market. And can I say it will be nothing but macro factors affecting the market return, the variation of the market return. Can I say that itself is nothing but the variance of the market? And if you don't get this immediately, here's a more elaborate explanation. Can I say I will take return of the market minus the return of the market average, and I will multiply with again return of the market minus the return of the market. Basically, I'm calculating covariance of market with market, which is the macro factor affecting the market return. And if I keep on multiplying them and then I keep on adding them, don't you think it is nothing but raised to the power 2? Then I sum them up, then I divide by n, and what I get is the variance of the market. Huh?
Yes.
So then the last part, because I'm benchmarking, I am saying, hey, you know what? The covariance of market with market, by the way, that is nothing but variance of the market, is 1, 100% kind of a thing. I want to see, I want to benchmark. So I'm saying that, hey, covariance of company A with the market is how much? And then I kind of cross multiply. And when I cross multiply, what I get is covariance of A with the market upon variance of market. And this is your formula of beta. By the way, this is also a formula of beta used in regression. It's nothing but a slope. That market का जब movement है, macro factors, basically I'm benchmarking कि macro factors market को कितना असर करते हैं versus company को कितना असर करते हैं, इसलिए divide. Are you getting it?
Yes.
And now with numbers, just to seal the deal, if I say that the macro factors affecting the market is 10, which is variance of the market is 10, and the covariance of company with the market is 20, I say that, hey, you know what? Macro factors are affecting the market less, and the macro factors are affecting the company more, double the rate, and that's why the beta is 2. If I say, you know what, the covariance of asset with the company with the market is 10, and the variance of the market is also 10, then in that case the beta is 1. That means macro factors affecting the market and the company is exactly the same. So beta is 1. And lastly, if covariance of company with the market is 5 and the variance of the market is 10, I say, you know what, macro factors are affecting the company less than the market. Pretty much like FMCG companies and pharma companies.
Yes.
And no wonder if your beta is 2, I'm writing on the top. If your beta is greater than 1, just a moment. If your beta is greater than 1, CAPM says, hey, you know what? Your macro factors are affecting you more than the market. So, hey, you know what? Why don't you earn more return? So, in this case, when the beta is greater than the 1, you can expect company to earn more return than the market. But if it is equal to 1, then you can expect company to earn same return as the market. And if it is less than 1, then please don't expect much to earn, not as much as market would. Are you
Okay.
getting it? That is what
Yes.
CAPM is trying to say, because you can run away from unsystematic risk by diversifying. But even if you diversify, you cannot run away from macro factors, because macro factors affects all the company. That is what
Yes.
CAPM is trying to say. So I hope you understand the intuitive meaning of beta. You also understand how to derive beta and why does it make sense. So CAPM is saying you can expect at least risk-free rate of return. I'm writing on the top, navy blue color. You can at least expect risk-free rate of return plus return over and above the market return, keeping in mind the beta, macro factors affecting the company versus the market. But as I told you, this formula is an intuitive way to look at it. It is actually derived using regression. We'll talk about that after we practically apply CAPM in building the portfolio. So let's discuss that first and then the derivation of the formula. Okay?